Alright, and into game 2 of TKAG versus Reason Gaming. Of course, this time switching it up, putting TKAG on the Legion side and Reason on the Hellborn, as that's what they do when they play these games. Game 1 is up, of course, as usual, as I tend to put everything in batches. When I go to school and actually have an internet there, I can upload stuff. I can upload like 6 or 8 casts or whatever in the span of an hour instead of it would take me literal days on my home internet because it sucks. So that's why that happens. Anyway, not that we care. Bands going out here first. Grinix, Cersei, Ophelia, and Keeper of the Forest are the exact same bands we saw in Game 1. So, if you were hoping for different ones here, then you would be wrong. I don't remember exactly who banned out what in Game 1, but I suspect they're similar, which again is pretty funny considering, usually you see teams banning out heroes they don't want the other team to get, and they're like, oh, if I have first pick, I'll be able to pick it up, and I want that. Not the case in this situation, so. Pesty is able to actually get through the initial banning phase, and is once again first picked by TKAG. Of course, they did that last game as well, and it didn't work out too well for them. As Pesty did not very well at all. Actually, really, as I was saying, nobody on their team did well. Just generally a pretty awful game for the entire Hellborn side last game, as they just didn't farm well, they didn't take the right engagements, and they lost relatively quickly. So hopefully we'll see if they can turn that around in Game 2, give us a little more entertainment here. Come on, dance, puppets. The Reason over here actually taking quite a lot of extra time on their second pick. Once again, first picking that engineer, so pretty similar in that vein, as actually the first really, 6 decisions that have gone on here have been exactly the same. The Master of Arms from TKAG is a little different. Of course, Reason picking that hero up last game and putting it on Imbaboy. Instead, it will be TKAG playing the Moa this game, and Pebbles followed up there for Reason Gaming. Of course, they played that last game. Once again, going to be handed to Death Growl pretty certainly. And he's shown himself to be quite a strong Pebbles player. Really a hero that has died off a little bit as the competitive scene has moved on. He got some nerfs in the last patch and, not too popular anymore. Making a bit of a comeback among teams. Reason in particular, I think, is really the only team that's running him regularly anymore. It was for, I think, about Cycle 9, we just never saw him at all. Cycle 10, we've seen him a few times. Reason has played him quite a lot. So possibly Pebbles coming back up here as teams just look for initiators that aren't Pestilence, because, only one team can have Pesty, and if he gets banned out, then no teams can have Pesty. So I think this is a situation really, as much as anything, where teams need initiation, they need stuns. AoE stuns are extremely helpful, and then of course Pebbles' burst damage is not unparalleled, but it is, really high up there in terms of how many heroes can put out how much damage in how short a time. So it looks like we might be seeing a bit of a resurgence of Pebbles here, and that'll be interesting, of course. A Reason finishing off with Forsaken Archer, going to be in Imbaboy's hands, one of the few teams that still plays FA. They play him fairly well. Reasonably solid hero in my opinion. I'm not sure if I'd rate him one of the top carries, I guess, as one of the top carries, and I'm not sure why I'd pick of FA over when, Moon Queen and Gemini are still on the board. Even actually Hag was gone, but Sand Wraith, Corrupted Disciple, with all those heroes available, I'm not sure if FA is the one I would pick up, but Reason, Imbaboy over there on Reason Gaming is a bit of a rogue drafter, I think is a good way to put him. He doesn't tend to follow the jungle metagame that most teams run. He likes his second supports instead. He plays FA, he plays a lot of Drunken Master, he's into Pebbles more than other teams are. He's first picking an engineer that most teams are pretty far away from that hero at this point. He's really a different drafter. He's not nearly as similar as, most of the other players and teams, and certainly doesn't follow the, SG, BMG model of Swindle Melons and Hanskin over there, as they tend to run fairly similar heroes. I think BMG showing a little more innovation in the last few cycles, bringing in heroes like Grinix, Suicide Corrupted Disciple, They ran the Suicide Kernel, so I don't think it was that was their invention, but they did sort of copy that. So I think that's a little bit of why they've had some resurgence here and been able to take some cycles over SG. But enough about teams that aren't even here. We haven't talked about the Legion's picks after that Master of Arms, Wretched Hag. So except for Pestilence, 2 heroes there that can be run in a multitude of roles. Always like to see that, of course. Adding versatility to a lineup, especially before you go through the second stage of bans and picks. Very good, because then, the options that are taken away won't hurt you nearly as badly if compared to picking some heroes that sort of have to be run in certain roles. Just talking about, stuff like Moon Queen and Sandrite. Those heroes pretty much have to be short laned. So if you get them, then you're putting yourself in a corner in terms of the ability to pick up stuff later on. You might be able to, you might get hit with bans that aren't very good. You might get hit with some picks on the other team that will counter you, that sort of thing. But when you leave yourself some space to maneuver, obviously that you end up in a much better position, and TKAG's done that, I think. A good job of that this side. So all the junglers are banned out except for Parasite, so if they want that first pick Parasite, he is available for TKAG. I suspect Reason won't grab that because, like I said, they tend not to run junglers, but we'll see. As far as the actual bans go, Warbeast, Pharaoh, and Scout coming out for the Legion side, so 3 suicides really, of course, knowing that Reason does not have a suicide. Trying to take away some options in that respect. But like I said, they don't care. They love that second support. They don't care about running a jungler. Really snap picking that Glacius. And they're willing to run here lanes without suicides. They are quite content to run man-up dual lanes, man-up tri-lanes even. I think they do prefer that man-up dual lane a little bit more, though. Just putting themselves in a position where they don't have to run a suicide. If they have to put you obviously do have to put at least one hero solo. And if they're going to do that, they like to make it mid or short lane where you have some defense with the tower there. It's a lot harder to kill you. So they sort of eschew that typically assumed suicide role and decide instead to run dual lanes in the long lane. So suicide bans there perhaps not the most effective because I really don't think those are heroes that Reason is going to go after in the first place. Emperor banning out Tempest, Moon Queen, and Corrupted Disciple. Interesting. The Tempest makes some sense because they know that we're not going to run a jungler and they might, but the Moon Queen CD less so. Both Master and Wretched Hag can be run as carries. They can do very well in that carry role. So banning out like the true hard short lane carries is a little interesting to me. And I think it's pretty clear at this point that Master of Arms is going to be run as a carry, and they use both of their last 2 picks, Nymphora and Torture, on support heroes. So pretty obvious that TKAG is not interested in picking up a carry, yet they were all banned out. So I don't really know why they would care. So really both sides using bans that didn't make a lot of sense considering the opponent's tendency to play. I think TKAG's bans made a lot of sense considering the lineup that Reason is running, but not so much considering their MO, really, of not running suicide heroes, of not running junglers. So we'll see, but I don't think that it really affected either side. Of course, that Kraken and Glacius last pick over there for Reason Gaming. I assume that Kraken's going to be the solo hero with FA and Glacius, and Pebbles and Engineer run as dual laners. Could be a tri-lane FA Glacius NG or FA Pebbles NG. You could really do either of those things. And actually, it looks like they might do that. Kraken middle, Impa and this Forsaken Archer is solo short. This might be a man-up tri-lane here with that Pebbles NG Glacius, and that has a lot of kill potential, of course. 2 stuns. The Slogmite's probably going to be used as initiation, as they're the easiest to land. And the Legion side's just waiting for somebody to ward. Waiting and hoping that they ward so they can kill them. Nymphora even taking her Zeal already. Torture taking chain reactions first. It's not that surprising, but sometimes you see that support Torture pick up Impalement first just for the harassment potential. So now this is pretty much an all-in kill lane, waiting for somebody to ward, but nobody's come. And that's some pretty, I guess, luck or heads-up play from Reason. Really one or the other. I'm not sure. Not sure how to call it sometimes. And so Legion will be forced to sort of go to their actual lanes here. And as they're also running a second support lineup, we will see no jungler. I don't expect Pesty to be solo down here, yeah. So here comes Nymph, I assume, back to help Pesty out. Little interesting that we'd run the Moa Torture middle as opposed to the Pesty Nymph mid. Or even the Pesty Tort mid. I think Pesty Tort mid would be my preferred situation just because they both have AoE stuns. So it's a little easier, like if the Impale hits 2, to also hit 2 with the Pestilence, or with the Torture chain reactions. But Hellborn's also looking for a first blood here, and Pesty, of course, knows who's around here thanks to that ward of sight placed by Panny. But what's going to end up happening here, as long as Nymphora is not hanging around, is once again free farm for Pebbles. And we saw this last game in the short lane. Death Growl was completely unopposed for like almost 10 minutes, and literally just allowed to get complete free farm. And they're proposing, I guess, to put together a similar situation here. In middle, Kraken is in a ton of trouble. There's the charge shot onto him, and he's got 2 guys coming to the side, but he's going to go to the wrong direction for both of them. Fork Lighting not going to hit, and gank does not work out here for the Legion side. In the middle, Zane will be just fine. So that's good news for them. Looks like Nymphora's headed top for some reason. I guess going to try to pick off this Wretched Hag, and with the Zeal stun, and considering FA has no escape mechanism, it's possible they could do that. Of course, a Ward of Sight here might have spotted this Nymph out. Yeah, I believe that Imbaboy knows that Nymph is here, and he is going to back up. Certainly playing himself safe. Nope, oh, now you're in some trouble there, Imbaboy. So I need to put plenty of harass actually onto this Wretched Hag, so she needs to be a little careful. Imbaboy has to know that this Nymphora is here, but she is still level 1, so that's actually not that big a deal. And he's going to chase her out. So she will leave. Back up here in the middle. Impalement comes out onto Kraken. He's already used... Nope, hasn't used a charge yet, but didn't have a man, I guess, and he will fall. So up here, Zealstun going to miss Glacius, but Hasted Torture coming in, and now Glacius is dead. Chain reactions will hit. Thunder Blast going on to both of them. Actually, Haste Rune wears off, and Nymph's now in a ton of trouble. Is she going to fall here? Health Pot going to get cancelled. Chain reactions will miss onto Glacius, but Imbaboy can chase this. Yeah, Nymphora is dead, unless that was a nice juke. Nope, going to see her. Chain reactions are not available yet. There's a Thunder Blast, and Nymphora's going to fall, actually. Torture in a ton of trouble here. There's the... Nope, Crippling Volley going to miss. And the problem is, of course, FA has boots, Torture does not. Torture does not have a chain reactions for a little while. Hag needs to come in here, and will put the Haunt and the Soda Scream down, but now she's going to take a bunch of damage. Impalement goes off there. Gonna fall on Torture and FA. Hag just barely going to live. Nymphora looking for a kill on the Glacius here. Not going to find it, I don't think. The Zeal is a little too easy to sidestep from this distance. So I would stop chasing here. Nope, Zeal's still going to go out and going to connect, but then it's not enough damage too. So level 1 Zeal stun, of course, not powerful enough to do anything. As bot lane once again, we have Pebbles at 232 GPM, so slowly climbing up there. He is 15 and 10, second highest free farm in the game to Master of Arms, and Pestilence is getting relatively little, 6 and 0. So he is doing alright on levels, but getting forced out a little bit here by Engineer and not getting any free farm. And we saw this last game with Pestilence, just not getting anything early. And that's fine if he's allowed to recover and given some space. On the other hand, I don't feel like this is going to be enough. You know, he really needs some help down here. Pestilence is very rarely run as a solo laner. And for good reason, I think, because, you know, he doesn't do it that well. So Death Growl on this Pebble is up to 300 GPM. That is the second highest in the game, as Master of Arms in the middle is just completely free farming, and of course, helping out with that Bloodlust kill. I believe it was actually Torture. No, he got the Bloodlust kill, excuse me. So as a result, he is going to sit at that 378 GPM mark, and he has 24 and 6 CS. Embo going to fall on top, as he just gets by everything. Crippling Volley, again, not going to be enough. Before Zeal stun goes out anyway. And that's one of the problems I have with Crippling Volley with Ice Imprisonment. Actually, both of which on the same team here. They're immobilizes. They're not stuns. So Hag can't move, but she can haunt, she can Sonar Scream, she can Bat Blast, Torture, and Nymph and Pesty can throw out their stuns. It's just... it's not a stun. And I'd rather get a hero with a stun. So, for that reason, I don't like Glacius, actually. Like, I mean, he's a fine support, and it's not like I'd say, oh, they picked Glacius, they're going to lose, they're terrible, what idiots. It's just, I think there are very, very, very few situations where Glacius is the best hero to pick. In this situation, Rhapsody was on the board, Umi was on the board, Nymphora was on the board when they picked her, I believe, because they last picked that Torture. Or Torture was on the board at least. One of those two was on the board when they picked Glacius. It's just... I don't see him as one of the premier supports anymore. Stalagmite's onto Pestilence, but both Torture and Nymphora are coming in here. They're trying to initiate the Pestilence. That's not going to be nearly enough. Zeal Stun and Chain Reaction is going to get stomped. They're staggered here. Not staggered. As Kindman actually comes in here on Pesty and picks up the last hit. So, a little overlap on the stuns there, but that's alright, as they do end up picking the Engineer. Good timing, as it was just when Pebbles was initiating on Pestilence. Pebbles and Pestilence. We've had this issue before. So Torture is still hiding off to the side here, and Nymph coming back in. Tort's working his way around. Turret gets dropped, making sure that he can't do anything, and Pebbles is going to have to back the hell off. So Pesty finally going to get some farm here, able to sit on a lane and just take the CS as Tort and Nymphora are providing him some support to him. And hopefully they will continue to do that because he really needs to get that GPM up. 156 GPM, that's the fourth lowest on his own team, below the Tort. So that's not good. But then again, you know, Kraken's not faring much better. 155 GPM. Glacius is pretty far down there. As the Legion does have a gold and experience lead, 1k gold, 1.5k experience. Pebble's playing awfully aggressive here, and Pesty's like, alright, that's not a good sign. As, of course, he has the support. Kraken coming in, he is level 6, so he has that release the Kraken to drop on somebody's face. Not going to get the opportunity, though, as the Legion team decides wisely to back off. Up here on top, we've got Glacius coming in to support Imba Boy a little bit. Make sure that Hag isn't allowed to kill her anymore. This is the initiation almost there, as they try to get the, I believe, the Ice Imprisonment off. Not enough range. So, Hag just allowed to blink away, and he will be completely and totally fine. 8-minute room going to spawn top, so good guess there. As Master of Arms will bottle it up. Looks like they're headed middle. DD on Kraken, though. Charge shot onto him. There's a haunt. It's just a Sonar Scream, actually. He did it with the haunt down. He did it with the haunt down. Chain reactions onto Kraken, and he's dead. So good position there from TPS Prices on Torture, knowing exactly where Kraken was going to charge off to, and having the ability to use a chain reaction to stop him in his tracks. As a result, 4 heroes here on the Legion side going to group up middle and try to take this tower down, I think. With Torturer's Impalement, they should have it. That is back up in about 5 seconds here. That plus the goo from Master of Arms and, of course, his illusion. Squib comes out, but I believe this will be a dead tower. Nope. Hellborn will respond to this. They port to the secondary tower. Gonna bring some help in, try to save this mid tower, but it is falling really quickly. And we're gonna drop the ultimate and the crippling volley on top of the release of the Kraken as Panty falls real fast. Master of Arms running away, just barely will survive thanks to a power supply, and Hag will also get out. So Torture also barely surviving as he ran off to the side. No, he actually just TP'd away. So, good there from TP's Priceless. TP's Priceless. TP's are priceless. See? Right there. Showing why. So, Hellborn drops a couple ultimates, just gets a kill on the Nymphora, but they do manage to defend the mid tower. Everyone will sit here and grab some farm, as the Legion side has to hang around for a bit and go heal up. So, good on you there, FA. Grabbing some CS for free. And that fight, even up the gold lead, actually slightly in favor of Hellborn. Nope, not anymore. Plus 7 gold for Legion. Boy, that's a pretty big lead right there. But the experience still slightly in their favor, as They have done a little better job maintaining those denies. Over on bottom, we're going to see the formulation of a Legion tri-lane here with Torton and 4 coming in for Pesty's help. This tower here is taking a little bit of damage, and perhaps they'll look to push it a little bit harder. Torture has level 3 impalement, so he's clearly prioritizing that. But it's unlikely they'll be able to do any significant damage to the tower here, just because the creep wave's there, and their own creep wave's going to get sieged down. Glacius was hiding off the side, looking for a pick onto somebody that was interested in defending the tower, but is going to port back to middle. As Hellborn are taking mid tower, Legion are taking bottom tower. Legion are taking bottom tower with pretty much no resistance. This is going to be a tower kill quite yet, but there's a ballista coming with the next wave that should help them finish it off. Meanwhile, a mid charge shot goes off, and Moa is able to deny that middle tower. So nice deny there, but the tower eventually does fall. Of course, it is the first tower kill in the game in favor of the Hellborn team. Bot tower, though, is in a ton of trouble. Torture Impalement comes right back out, and with the creep wave here, this is a dead tower. Torture, in fact, choosing to port out, knowing that his Impalement will still can do damage. And he'll head back to base, grab some mana. Impalement stun comes out, but who cares, because there's the Grace of the Nymph, and all his mana comes right back. Master of Arms will finish off mid tower. And up top, 3 heroes on the Hellborn side interested in picking out this top tower, so lots of tower pushing all of a sudden. Pebbles does have his portal key, he just picked it up. So anybody that comes here to defend might be in for a rude awakening when they get jumped on by Pebbles, who isn't even level 8 yet. Torturer, Moa, and Hag coming in here. Lightning speed coming out of the Torturer, but he will not hit anybody with chain reactions. The port gets cancelled. Was from Nymphora. So Nymphora was coming in, but chooses not to, as they did put some pressure up here in the secondary tower, a little tiny bit of it at least, and Kraken took some bugs. So up top here, Hellborn's still pretty committed to doing something to this top tower. Rev Ward will take out their lane ward here, and of course they know Pebbles has his portal key by now, so nobody's going to get surprised anymore. Torture going to triple stack these Ancients, I presume. Of course, 20 seconds before he can do so. Hasted, Immovable. No, that wasn't hasted. He just runs kind of fast. As that's Steam Boots and Energizer combination, so he should. 375 base move speed. So the Ancient's going to be stacked. Hag apparently choosing to do it herself. Hellborn team Ancients only 1 stack, so not much going on there. Bugs once again on Kraken, and they're going to use those to be able to spot out Ibba Boy, so they know exactly where the Hellborn team is down here, as Pesty's once again free-farming this lane, getting himself up to 235 gold per minute, so he has recovered somewhat here. Let's see how much better he can do. Of course, 235 GPM, just not going to cut it. He definitely needs that portal key, but he usually needs a few more items than that even to be extremely effective. Just the portal key allows him to be a good initiator, do a lot to set up fights, and really do plenty of damage, but with a few more items he can tank up, or do a lot more damage, or both, really. As Nymphora port going to come top into the woods over here, and the Hellborn team's in a ton of trouble. Flight on Pestilence. Impale Stun's going to hit just one, just Glacius, so he will fall very easily. Zeal Stun going to hit nobody else.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion
Lightning speed onto Pestilence, but he's going to take the stun shock combo on top of Release of Kraken. Going to hit 4 heroes, in fact, here. Torrent as well. Heal comes out, but there's the kill on the Death Barrel. Imboboy gets the piercing arrows up. Going to pick off both Torture and Pestilence. So, slightly in favor of the Hellborn side there, as they did blow 3 ultimates, but they got more valuable kills onto the Pesty and so they're not really then, actually, sorry. Actually, yeah, the Legion side wins that. 3 valuable ultimates, and Pesty versus Pebbles. Pebbles is much more farm. And then Glacius and Torture both supports, so. Plus Legion is now able to push in this top tower, and they probably won't get the kill here as they're not really committing to it, but they will get substantial amounts of damage, and it will be less than half when they come back. So, Death Barrel here, going to pick up some CS. Imboboy farming middle lane. As Master of Arms and Hag, interested in taking out these tripled Ancients here. Of course, that Goose sitting down there doing a lot to reduce armor and do a bunch of dot damage as well. Massively helpful when it comes to killing Ancients. Where are you going, Dragon? Where are you going? But, yep, they just got vision here. So there go the Stalagmites onto 2, in fact. Hag going to die very quickly, charge shot into Pebbles, and he's going to be actually dead. Kraken going to come on here with the charge, but Energizer popped by Master of Arms. Chain reactions hit Glacius, and the Impalement plus the stuff kills him. Over here, FA is going to be fine. Master's getting chased down, but he'll be okay as Nymphora boards in. So, slightly positive engagement there, I think, for the Legion. They lose Hag, but they kill Pebbles and Glacius. Their triple Ancients are stopped, of course, and both the Dragon Masters here, very low health, so somebody will be able to come in and finish them off. Apparently not Torture, though. As I'm a little confused exactly as to how the Legion side saw that. I don't see any wards here, so maybe they saw the Dragon come down here, they knew it was happening. Panties get picked off there by Pebbles. Ports in with that ultimate, and immediately dies. Pesty going to put the Impulse on into FA, prevent anything from happening there. Flight will allow him to get away very easily. These 4 heroes here from the Hellborn side are grouped up on bot lane, ready to push. Actually, Zane on that Kraken is also deciding to leave, so... Nope, but he comes right back. So we're going to have the entire Hellborn team here looking to push this bottom tower in, and if they commit to it, they should get it relatively easily. Those FA minions actually do quite a lot of damage to towers. Jump over here by Pebbles, but won't find anybody, just to make sure that nobody's pushing them in. Meanwhile, in middle, that secondary tower is taking some damage thanks to the Moa Goo, and are we going to see impalement from Torturer? Yeah, we are, so... A lot of damage here. Glyph of Fortification coming out as the bot tower does fall. And some solid group up here from the Legion side. We have 4 heroes coming in here. Death Growl is in some trouble as Pesty jumps on him with that new portal key. Stalagmites Chuck combination actually... Only the Chuck hits. The Stalagmites miss everybody. Nymphora is going to live thanks to the Master of Arms ultimate getting put down on him. And Glacius is going to fall. Regen rune here. Nobody wants it apparently. Kraken's going to pick it up and then just drop the ult on top of the NG. So well done there. Crippling Volley going to help finish off Kindman on that Pestilence. Nymphora ultimate going to come out. Are they going to try to get him away? Oh, there he goes. As they actually port top for some reason. Presumably to push down this tower. So, Master of Arms chugging that bottle. Plus some heals coming out from Nymph. And... Yep. I think they're baiting this Hag, so they kind of figure that Hellborn is going to try to jump Hag, and Glacius is coming over here by himself, which is certainly not a jump, it's more a, what's going on? And I think that they think that Hellborn, that the Legion side went back to base when in fact they were interested in just hanging out. Ice Imprism going to go out onto Nymphora, but the Zealstone will hit, and there goes Glacius. Combo coming out on the Hag, plus a Torrent, will die with the piercing arrows there. Lightning Speed onto Master of Arms, he's going to live, but Nymph is not going to be so lucky. Zealstone going to hit, nobody on the backhand. And Imboboy picking up a double tap, so... Boy. Yeah, I think Tilla gets me better, but he just dies in like 4 hits. He's got 4 deaths there. Look, Panny, if you're gonna call somebody a faggot, at least spell it right. Just saying. So Hellborn picks up a couple of heroes in the jungle there, getting both Hag and Nymphora. Good engagement, obviously, for them. Nymphora port coming over here, and Kraken obviously does... No, might hear it. In fact, he is backing off a little bit, but coming back to the lane. Energizer popped, and they're not going to be able to catch him. Nope, there's a portal key and Impelment stun, but counter initiation onto Pestilence, and he's going to die here. Nymphora also going to get caught as they were just waiting for that. Pebbles with good game sense, knowing Kraken was about to get jumped, and hanging there for the counter initiation on the Pebbles, or Pestilence. Pebbles with the counter initiation on the Pebbles, somehow. With the counter on the Pesty, and able to take him out. So Hellborn getting their way back into this game with a couple of nice pickoffs, two hero steals really, without losing anything of their own. And Panny wasn't really wrong. They're training a little bit, grouping up and pushing, but of course, this is a team game and you do that occasionally. Crippling Volley there going to help clean up the creep wave. But we're looking at a slightly positive situation here for the Hellborn side. Finally, really, since maybe 5 minutes in or whatever, they've been behind, and finally with those pickoffs, they managed to get ahead a little bit. As Legion sort of feel like they're on their back foot here. In the laning phase, it felt like they had a bit of a plan, like we're going to get a pick off here, there was some good team coordination. This side, at this point, they're sort of just like ganking at random and overcommitting a little bit, like diving secondary towers. Usually you wouldn't expect the response to all be there, but sometimes it is, and in that situation they sort of got screwed because they picked the wrong target. But I think really that's a compliment to Reason's planning and knowing which heroes are likely to get picked for a gank and which heroes aren't, and supporting them accordingly. So really heads-up play from them as much as anything. And as a result, they're enjoying their first lead for a while. GPM charged real fast. Master of Arms sitting way up there. And as you can see, the Legion side has Moa out-farming everybody. And then Hag and Pesty doing not very well at all. And then Nymph and Torture being supports. Oh, the life of a support. On the Hellborn side, much more gradual slope off as Forsaken's from pretty well 440 GPM. Pesty not going to jump yet, Glacius here, so interesting decision. They probably could have killed him. I mean, FA is way too low to be really taking many particularly serious engagements here, and Glacius has 663 health and a mana battery, so it's not like he's the picture of health and tankiness. But Hellborn side anyway, a little more staggered. 450 on FA, 360 on Pebbles, 350 actually. As over here, our Planeswalker comes out onto Nymphora. She will survive. Pebbles now going to fall as well, and we're just sitting outside the energy field for Torture. Nymphport going to come in here to the shop, and they're going to look for a couple of kills. Pesty's got his portal key, going to chug that bottle, get some mana back up, but won't see anybody. Instead, they're going to take the Ancients here real fast, I think. Nope, maybe not. Maybe Kongor? They've got the vision, and Hellborn has none. Mines dropped everywhere in these little woods. As Nymph drops a pod onto Torture, and it looks like Legion's gearing up for a push here, knowing the Death Growl's down, and that's really their initiation. No PK on Kraken yet, so they can't do much there. Piercing Shard's going to come out, clean up the creep wave. That's some good anti-push there. Glyph of Fortification as well, going to prevent a lot of damage to the tower, but it is going to go down as they deny it. Pebbles over here, porting in mid. Going to PK nowhere. I think he PK'd straight back. I think he might get initiated on as he was portaling in. Both sides here really looking a little standoffish as they're grouping together and not wanting to get picked off, but not really wanting to end this engagement either. Nymphora just healing everybody up. And that portable well she is. But Envoy is managing to get some farm during this time, and that's obviously going to benefit the Hellborn a little more. But then so does the Legion, deciding to clean up the Hellborn jungle, and that's probably the best decision here. Just take out all the creep camps and get yourself some farm that they can't. Hellborn going to pick up that bot ward. It is an invisibility, so Engineer will be running around and you can't see him. Na-na-na-na-na. Master of Arms in middle, a little on his own, so if he gets jumped here, he could be in some trouble. He does have 1480 health, so he's a little tanky. Those Steam Boots and Shrunken Head. Of course, now he's finished Shield Breaker as well. Plus the Energizer, he's a little difficult to kill. Not the most difficult, but a little difficult. Invisible Engineer going to come in here and see what's going down. Somebody just bought another Shield Breaker, so I wonder if that's a Shield Breaker too, or what. NG Ultimate coming out here, going to catch Master of Arms, but his Shrunken Head goes off. Torture falls immediately. Release Crack going to catch two, but Nymphora's Zeal going to hit nothing as the Shrunken Head goes off on the Imba Boy. Master's Call coming off onto himself, actually, as he's trying to run away. Puts the Fork Lightning down to save a bunch of stuff. Chuck onto Pestilence, and he falls. So, nice engagement there. Invisible Engineer setting stuff up, dropping the LT onto two, forcing the Shrunken Head up. Master of Arms really before he needed to pop it, or he would have been able to, or before I guess he wanted it, as you know, Pebbles was coming in a little later, and of course engaging before Master ended up having that Shield Breaker. So certainly good timing there on the part of the Hellborn, and that is a Shield Breaker too. So that's why I saw that get purchased twice. Nymphora coming in here with Master of Arms, and Glacius is... He's just got 279 health. He's got no health. Another reason not to like Glacius. So damn squishy, no escape mechanism. He has the slow, he has the immobilize, which are nice, but... I don't know, man. So, we've moved into the little more passive stage here with everybody deciding let's just hang back, farm up a little bit, and we don't want to take engagements right now. Ice Imprisonment onto that Dragon Master as that just lasts forever. Shield Breaker 3 now finished on the Master of Arms for 67 GPM, so he's continuing to farm better than anybody else in the game. And Hellborn looking to group up a little bit and go through the Legion jungle, maybe possibly take that secondary tower down here. But making sure, of course, that the Legion does not know exactly how many heroes are down here, so if they do initiate, he will be somewhat surprised. You know, you usually assume that if they're doing something like this, they probably have most or all of the team. So you never really assume, oh, we can just get this pick off real fast and they'll be fine. And they're going to stop hiding now, show everybody, just in an attempt to get this tower down as fast as possible, and it will fall.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
So that's the first secondary tower going down in favor of the Hellborn team, of course. The mid-secondary tower went down in favor of Legion side. So Hellborn looking to take some more map control, take some towers out, make it a little harder for their opponents to support each other. Of course, that Nymphora port is a big help when it comes to saving teammates who get caught out. But it does require that teammate to live for a while in order to actually realize, oh, he's getting caught, and then we have to group up in the same place, and we actually have to have enough time for the port to go off. As Torture and Pesty are sitting down here, I think, waiting for somebody to come farm this top lane. That's the thing I don't get. Like, if you're going to just wait here for somebody to farm the top lane, I'll take their jungle in the meantime. You'll lose a little bit of health, but you'd rather have the farm in case nobody comes, and you won't lose enough that it'll prevent you from ganking, so... Pesty's still not doing too well, 247 GPM, finding it a little hard to pick it up. Hag is actually in a similar situation, 284 there, choosing to forego the light brand in favor of a icon of the goddess, so hoping for some more team fighting, really, or at least ganks, as Pebbles PK over here, and there's a jump onto Imboboy here with the Impulse Stun and the chain reaction, but the whole Hellborn team is here. Imboboy will fall immediately, but so does CPS Priceless. So good trade there for the Legion side as they pick off the opposing team's carry in exchange just for a support Torture. They are going to look to support this bot tower as it's getting heavily pushed in by Master of Arms, but just Kraken's not going to be enough. He charges onto Master of Arms, drops the ultimate, lots of ports coming in. There's Pebbles, and this is a dead Moa. Pops a Shrunken Head, probably didn't need to do that. I guess why I get why he did that, but he was pretty dead. There's, I guess, no reason to really waste that charge. And they will deny this bot tower, as it was just below deny range. So that portal key, of course, on Zane, proving to be a significant help. As Hellborn are still in a slight lead here, 2k gold, 3.3k experience. And 16 to 13 hero kills, of course. So Pebble must be close to something because he's choosing not to stack this camp. Instead, actually just killing it. And of course, it would have respawned in another 5 seconds, so if he'd been a little more patient, he would have been able to stack it, got some more farm. So I hope that he's close. Yeah, he is, 500 gold away from that Shrunken Head, so maybe that's what he's going for next. Or maybe he's less if he has something in the stash. Nope, Sid buys a port, and Hellborn team grouping up middle. Pebbles is all the way back in base, but they're clearly aiming to push something down. Bound Eye coming out, making sure they don't have any vision here on the Legion side, and in fact they do not have any wards anywhere except for the Hellborn jungle. So a Rev ward there, of course, and a ward here and here. So this mid tower is falling relatively fast thanks to all those minions from Forsaken Archer. And this should be a tower kill unless there's all of a sudden a lot of support here from the Legion side. Master of Arms coming in here trying to stop the push a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. And that's going to be dead mid tower. In exchange, Legion sort of looks like they're pushing top, but they're not going to be able to. So I don't know what the plan was there. Nymphoria and Torture both just sort of hanging out, doing nothing. Making sure Pesty picks up some farm, which is nice, but in the meantime that mid tower was dying very quickly from full to nothing in less than a minute. And they could have defended that if they needed to. Nymphoria is only level 9, but Pesty has a port, Tort has a port, she has a port as well, so everybody could have gotten back to base relatively quickly and defended that tower. They are still hanging out in this Hellborn jungle, so counter wards going down here for the Legion ward of sight on that ridge, and that's going to leave Legion without a lot of vision on the map. Really, just this one ward of sight up here, and considering they have a dual support lineup, that's extremely bad. I think they just picked up the Bound Eye, so I don't think they've been doing too much counter warding. It's just, no, there finally goes a ward of sight down there from TPS Priceless, but and to be honest, on the Hellborn side it is much better. Ward of sight here from Tilla, and that's it. So I don't know where all the vision is from either of these teams. Like, it feels like it should be a lot higher. But Hellborn going to take out this last outer tower, or at least try to, and we'll see if the Legion has a response for this. Tower's falling awfully quickly, with Death Growl sitting in the back here waiting for somebody to jump his teammates. Instead, Legion will try to put some pressure on this base tower, but it's not going to happen. I don't know why TKAG is so reluctant to defend towers. They've all got portals, they've all got ports. Nymphoria doesn't, but she has an ultimate, and it's not like she's make or breaking a team fight. You really want her there, but she can get back. So I don't get why they're choosing not to defend these. It's not like they're spending that time farming very well. They're sort of just sitting around. As they're looking for the jump here, Impale Stun onto Forsaken Archer, but Pebbles comes in the back, and TPS Price will immediately get burned down. Hag in a lot of trouble. She's going to fall to the crippling arrows. Pestilence has the Shrunken Head up, so does Master of Arms. Both of them are going to run away. Master's Shrunken Head actually falls off, so does Pesties. Push Book away, going to stop the Impale Stun, actually. And Portal Key is not available. There it is on Pesty, as he manages to get away. So another one engagement there for the Hellborn side as they pick up both Torture and Hag. And just, it seems like it's extremely sloppy play here from TKAG. They're not defending towers. When they jump, Pesty's way ahead of the other team. Like, he took the Impel Stun on a Forsaken Archer, but after that, didn't feel like the rest of his team was ready to follow it up, and they certainly didn't seem to. Meanwhile, on the side of Reason, there's much more coordination going off. When they're pushing, they're pushing. When they're team fighting, they're team fighting, and everybody's like, you know, kill this guy, kill that guy, kill this guy, kill that guy, and they're getting it off. So, honestly, what it feels like is TKAG works together fine in groups of 2 or 3, and they don't work together well as a team. And Reason works together sort of okay and in groups of 2 or 3. You know, that's probably not giving them enough credit. They work together just fine in groups of 2 or 3, and they're working much better as a team. You know, so I don't know if it's just a lack of leadership here on TKAG. This is a relatively new team. They've got a lot of members. They actually, as their opening comes in, Zealstun's going to hit Pebbles, so that's going to allow a lot to go off, including this Shrunken Head here from Master. Will that be enough? No, he will fall. And then 4 trying to get out, and he will not make it. So 2 more kills in favor of the Hellborn side as they force out another Shrunken Head cooldown from Master of Arms. Of course, Pebbles not even using his. So anyway, I don't know if that's just like a leadership issue here or what. Chain reactions onto Engineer. He's going to run away, but there's mines right here. And Death Growl's in as well. Chuck onto Torturer. He's going to fall real fast. So that's just like, that's what I was talking about. You know, Torturer is just off here by himself, saying, alright, I'm going to open on this Engineer and drop a bunch of spells on him. There's no support from his team. And when Reason comes in, when Reason sees, oh, Engineer's getting initiated on, help me, guys. And that happens. Like, his team comes in and helps him out and makes sure he doesn't die. And I don't think he would have anyway, but they managed to get the turn kill on Torturer, and he definitely wasn't going to get that, even with the mines. In the meantime, Impel Stun onto all the Geobane Loos, plus the Nymphora Zeal, but now Pebbles is caught in the Release the Crack and going to take the Superior Magic Stun on top of the Crippling Volley. Piercing Goes going to do nothing thanks to all the Shrunkins. But the tower does go down. Engineer going to drop the ultimate here, going to fall for it though, and the Engineer ultimate's going to fall in a second, so Nymphora Port actually going to come out here into the jungle as they are looking to run away on the Hellborn side, and that should be mostly successful. Pesty should not jump in at this point. Mines are going to follow him everywhere, actually. Now, a lot of mines are going to follow him, and that's pretty funny. Zealstun onto Pebbles, but he's just going to hang out, and knowing that pretty much nothing can actually take him out. He does have a push book up still. So, Saberhawks there had mines in here for forever, and Kindman over there finally getting hit by them. And he takes a death. So, Reason now up substantially, 9.5k gold, 11k experience. And, I mean, like I said, I don't feel like either team got outdrafted here. I think these are both strong lineups. They make some sense. They're not necessarily what I would have picked, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're worse. You know, it very well might mean that they're better. These guys are all, after all, professional HoN players, and I'm not, so who the hell am I to say anything about it? I mean, that's it, right? It just feels like Reason is together, they're coordinated. When they decide they're going to do something, they do it. The whole team is on the same page, and TKAG over here is not. It doesn't feel like they're coordinated. It feels like a lot of those heroes spend a lot of time just sitting around doing nothing. And that's obviously not a recipe for success. So there's the Kongor kill there. Imboy, of course, going to pick up the token, dropping the Homecoming Stone in the pit, and that's going to be their cue to push once more, it looks like. Just not interested in doing the typical token stuff of, okay, we're going to take map control, we're going to take your jungle, we're going to starve you for resources. Crocodile truck onto Pesty and Nymphora here. Crippling Volley goes off on the side onto Master, going to stop him from initiating. He's going to pop the Shrunken Head and get away, but both Pesty and Nymphora fall. Going to have the ultimate on himself. Positive, actually. Kegsun not going to hit. He's running up. Probably both looking for it, and he's going to fall, actually, thanks to the portal key. But Hag looking for a portal up here, obviously. And we'll find one, but now this is 5v3 plus a token, as Master and Torture actually didn't die, so Master buys out. And this is his second buyback. I didn't even notice he used one. With the fortification coming out, going to stop a lot of the damage, but the other thing is, why do you pop that when there's creeps? Because then you're just like, okay, well, kill the creep wave first, and then we'll deal with the hag. There. Hag getting jumped here by Pebbles on top of that, but despite the shrunken head, still going to fall way too quickly. Pebbles taking a bunch of damage here, but obviously won't fall. Getting push booking himself all the way around. So there go the mid-racks for the Legion side, and yeah, once again, you know, you see Reason moving as a team, making team decisions. And for a port going to come out over here, going to catch absolutely nobody. Death Girl, easily the lowest in their team, going to actually port himself all the way back to base, and most of the heroes here are relatively okay. Engineer going to come in here with some illusions, and that's probably going to be his death. So he's going to see everybody. Boom, there's the Impel Stun on top of the Zeal. Actually, Charge Shot hits the illusion, so Engineer is dead still, but managed to get out like all these spells. And Legion needs to port away, and everybody will, so... some anger here. So, everybody gone, and there's that pickoff on Engie, and doesn't seem like Reason's too concerned about it. Instead, just like, alright, that's fine, he'll be back in time for us to push this mid, the spot tower in. We still have a token up onto Hag.
So right now,
sorry. I don't know if that actually came through the microphone, but we'll see. So this is going to be just about it for Legion and Hellborn and nope. St. Rox is done. And it looks like we're always looking for an engagement here. Hag way up in the front lines, but without Engineer, they don't really want to fight this, except maybe they do. Jump onto Hag. She's going to get the Master's Call and the Shrunken Head off. Plenty of time, but they're just going to force that out really and run away. Impel Stun onto Forsaken Archer, plus the bugs. Going to get push-booked away. Release the Kraken dropped onto Torture. He's going to take a bunch of damage. Zero Stun on the Kraken, though. He's going to take a lot. TPS Priceless does fall, but so does Zane, as Glacius manages to help finish off Master of Arms with Imperboy's help. Stalagmite's on to Wretch Tag. She's still getting chased down. Vorproc and Impale, as Death Growl will fall. Nymphora's Stun actually not doing anything. Imperboy's still alive, still has the token, so plenty of ability to do stuff, but ports out from the Legion side, and they will live, sort of. Of course, Mr. Ling doesn't have anything. Catch on Hag, and she dies. So she just had to blink up. Actually, offensive GG is getting called here by Death Growl on the Hellborn side. And soon there's the Impel Stun and the Zeal onto Imperboy, but he doesn't care, of course. He has the token, and there's some help from his teammates. So there's token. Death Growl buys back, comes in onto Pestilence, wears the Shrunken Head, not up for 10 seconds, he's gonna fall. And Nymph's in some trouble too, looking to skirt the stun here. Chain Reactions also misses Pestilence, Stillston will hit. Plus the pod actually going to miss, and Chuck onto his friend. There goes the Engineer ultimate, and now Nymph's completely screwed. Keg stun actually as Imperboy's last attack finishes him off. And this is pretty done. Two lanes totally down here in favor of the Hellborn side. Top is pushing in, and of course they can finish that off if they'd like to. Pretty huge wave of archers there, as GGs are going to be called. And that's going to do it, I think, in a second. They're going to jump onto Master of Arms once again. He has the Shrunken available there. He's going to pop it, going to put a charge shot onto Pebbles. And the offensive Master's Call. Going to get a bunch of damage, but not nearly enough. Actually, with Hag there, might be enough. MOA is going to just barely fall, though. Shrunken Head onto Hag as well. Energizer popped on Forsaken Archer, but she's going to blink away, and she'll be fine. So, at this point, Hellborn just owns Legion's base. They're just going for the throne. One tower going to fall. Impale Stun onto Kraken. He's going to take a bunch of damage. Chain Reaction plus a Zeal Stun, but the ultimate coming out from Imperboy, and he'll fall. Torrent Charge run away, but Sonar Screen Blink comes out there. Ultimate from Glacius is going to help finish off Hag, and she'll fall as Imperboy just is killing everything. There's the final tower killed, and the World Tree has fallen quickly. And there's no buy box on anybody except for Panny, who is already alive. Jammer's Bane's there. And this is going to be an old-fashioned finish, it looked like. No CC. There goes the World Tree. Actually, TPS Priceless gets caught out of there, but who cares. So, good game 2. Not as dominant as Game 1, but the series nonetheless goes to Reason Gaming, and they will move on to round 4 of the losers bracket. Well played to them, well drafted to both sides, but I feel like once again it's the teamwork aspect, and Reason has it, and it doesn't seem like TKAG does. They are relatively new. They're not haven't been together for that long, so hopefully with some more practice they can show us that yes, we can work together as a team. I think the real problem is they've got like 8 players, so not necessarily all used to working together even with a lot of practice. So it's going to take some doing, I think, to put this TKAG team together, but there's certainly some promise, and they showed it, and hoping that they get better, and I think that they will. So that's going to be it for Game 2 and this series as it goes to Reason Gaming, and we'll see if